My channel here over on Subscribestar. So people saw this Barbie trailer and they thought, "Oh, 2001. It sounds like what a fun trailer." They combined 2001 and Barbie. It's like the juxtaposition between a serious movie and something so silly. Let me tell you, the symbolism for this Barbie trailer is not that deep. You can watch it yourself. It's 30 seconds. Watch it twice. Watch it with the symbolism concept in mind, and you'll get what I'm talking about. Like, let me explain. Barbie is globalist subversion. So what is a trailer? Little girls. It opens up. Little girls are playing with babies to model motherhood. That's a very old concept. Then in 1959, Mattel began the globalist subversion and introduced weird adult dolls designed by Ruth Handler, I think. So instead of the child miming her mother, the sacred Madonna and child, the child looks in the other direction. She goes from the baby to modeling the single sex pot whore played by Margot Robbie here, or by Barbie. The subversion is pretty weirdly obvious. I mean, this stuff is really in your face once you look at it. It's not that deep. You can watch. It's a 30-second trailer. Watch it, and you'll go, "Holy shit, this is dark." Yeah, it's really dark, especially what the kids do at the end with their dolls. They completely turned upside down this natural order, and I wonder how many people were aware of it at the time. So let's examine the trailer. It's set to the 2001 theme, and people on YouTube were saying they thought, "Oh, they did such a good job with it." So I watched it. Like this thing shocked me with how open and obvious the evil is. And as soon as it opened with little girls playing with dolls, and I saw that one of the girls had blonde hair, I could smell the globalist subversion. Literally, the first 10 seconds, I could tell you that this was going to be propaganda in a certain direction. Once I see European girls in the opening scene, I know that you're going to see some propaganda. In case you haven't noticed, the media hates people of European descent with an incandescent genocidal rage like no other group. Perhaps you've seen a commercial lately, or even the latest streaming shows: Rings of Power, Wheel of Time, She-Hulk, Star Trek Discovery even had the opening scene of the Witcher Blood Origin. What did all those shows have in common? They portrayed blonde men as evil, stupid, malicious, or incompetent. There are no surprises. How many shows do you need to see with the blue eyed man bad before you finally start to understand what is going on here? It's at one of the stages. It's one of the stages. You are somewhere on that stage right now, the dehumanizing and the degrading stage. The global, and the thing is, to be fair, I know that more and more people are awakening to this stuff. So the globalists can't help themselves. I think they might actually be demons. Anyway, the voiceover has little girls playing with dolls, and usually in commercials or anything, you don't see European people anymore. The only time you see blonde hair is to portray it as a negative, even if they have to dye the actor's hair to make sure that you can degrade, dehumanize, and hate them, as they did in Wonder Woman 84 with Pedro Pascal or something. So usually you're not going to see European people in commercials or anything. So when you see a movie using a fair-skinned, beautiful person of the light, it's the ultra rare world's minority, the blonde and red-haired people. It's going to be a bad sign. There is one little blonde-haired girl and four dark-haired girl, and yes, I realize this sounds a bit tinfoil hat, but it's not. Symbolism is everything, and as they say, there'll be their downfall. And before you start saying, "Oh, this is just rabbit hole stuff," go watch the trailer for yourself. Watch it a few times. Guarantee you're going to agree with me. And it is global subversion. The voiceover is talking about. It shows the set little white girls playing with dolls and saying that little girls have always played with baby dolls, and I knew everything I needed to know. And then the follow up, the rest of the commercial proved me absolutely correct, because I know the shape of these parasites. They just move to fill the form. It's not rocket science. You study them for a few months and you mostly understand their ways and means. Very clearly, they're going from modeling motherhood, the sacred, to the profane in one 30-second commercial. I mean, this is just like, started in 1959, right? These people are pure evil on a level it's hard to convey until you see their behavior on Twitter for a few months. If you follow 500 of the right Twitter accounts, I mean of the left-wing blue checkmark, the verified hate type accounts, it'll lead you down a rabbit hole that is a one-way journey. Anyway, so I instantly knew the message was going to be against, I'll say, European natal rates, and indeed it was. The reason little girls play with baby dolls is to prepare them for motherhood. The things you focus on are the things you move forward towards. And in 1959, the slow subversion, well, that was one example of the subversion starting with Mattel. Literally, these bad people subvert within the first 10 seconds. So they portrayed little girls learning how to be future mothers as a negative because that is their goal in life, to subvert, decay, corrupt, and destroy. And they say Barbie comes along and it's an adult doll character, and it shows Margot Robbie looking like Barbie, which is the adult sex bomb. And when they first open on the scene, the little girls are staring up at her crotch for like 3 seconds. It's not like the camera's rotating around her. They're staring up at her crotch. It's a weird, and it's in shadows, so you don't really see it. But then when you look at it, you're like, that's weird that the camera paused there for a couple of seconds instead of just continuing its rotation. It stopped. It's like, yes, we get it. This barren F hole is the focus of everything for these globalists. So the psychology of the difference between the angelic first image, the sacred mother and child, and the contrast to the horror of Babylon, the Lilith image, where the adult child-free Margot Robbie, as portrayed in this thing, is just a barren F-hole. Her portrayal is to tell little girls they don't need to be mothers. They don't need to focus on being mother and child and family and the magic holy trinity of the family. The goal is to be a glamorous receptacle for men's pleasure. This trailer is actually an amazing amount of subversion in one 30-second clip. And you're hearing this video and think, you're doing a lot of heavy lifting from one clip. Watch it for yourself and come back and say, oh, you're right. You're right. It really is. It really is that bad. If anything, it's worse. And I know you're going as far as you can. I'm going as far as I can on YouTube, but it's like, what it is. It's YouTube. I mean, it pissed me off enough to immediately make this video. The juxtaposition of the two images, sacred Madonna and child versus the barren wasteland, that women are only there to be the pleasure objects for men to use and discard. Feminism has changed so much in only a few decades to the point where it's nothing more than horror Marxism for useful idiots. A few years ago, most feminists were firmly on board with the idea of marriage and kids. It would have been feminism within that construct. Then they got subverted to sex positive feminism, which slowly came to mean just whoring around and staying single forever and never pair bonding, because the goal all along was to destroy the family of these gullible women who were fooled by feminism. And the message, it goes, the message is conveyed to everyone. It only resonates with certain people. So I know if you're young, you might be maybe on a different track where you see seeing your girlfriend as different. Half the reason she's there is to relieve deadly sperm buildup, and then when you get older, you realize, a lot of these opinions on relationships were because of a lack of a positive model for family, tribe, and community, because they've been controlling the media and pushing these narratives for a very long time. And when I think of how much of my own disabled worldview was formed by this stuff, it's a continuous trip down the rabbit hole to wash off the media propaganda about everything about the South you learn from Hollywood, and then you look at the South and you look at the Hollywood portrayal of it, and then you look at who's making these movies, and you go, see, you guys were never in the South either, because you go to the South, it's like, oh yeah, Hollywood lied. They made these movies for 50 years and they lied the whole time. It's like these coastal elite, Hollywood people who are, on the Epstein Island flight logs type of thing. It's like they're making these movies about the South where the worst person in the South is a white guy in a pickup truck with a stars and bars flag and a rifle rack. And you're like, that's not the worst guy in the South. He's not the problem. He's just in the background. Yeah, for sure he's there. He's not hurting anyone. That's this Hollywood narrative has been a Hollywood narrative for a long time. The thing is, there's really no beating media propaganda because it's everywhere. The only real solution is to cut it out and offer a counter narrative that specifically talks about how dangerous globalist propaganda is to get people to focus on it. And anyway, so with the shift from baby dolls to the adult horror Barbie, this also shows how weak the USA was and is because there was no defense against that subversion. They portray the sex bomb, and then at the end, the little white girl, the little blonde girl, are smashing the dolls, figuratively deleting the future generations. Watch the ad, think about it. You'll get angry. The symbolism is disgusting. Anyway, support the channel on Subscribe Star or Cash App, and I will see you all next video.